All right, guys, welcome back. December 29th. So we're almost heading to the end of the year. Today we lost about $19, but I'm going to be proud of that. I kept my volume light. I could have done three things, and while I'm talking, you guys are going to see the P&L on the screen. I could have done three things today. Either one, going heavy, start off with 100 shares, start sizing up without any cushion, and lose a lot on the day, or option B, which is the route I took, start off with an initial size of 50 shares and scalp from there if it looks good, or option C, which is the best option to not trade. However, I traded these stocks because they were the ones that were the top gainers of the day, and I was like, okay, if this is a stock that's on the top gainer, their likelihood to have higher chance of succeeding because maybe people are going to be trading that particular stock rather than other stocks. So I'm like, okay, I took my chances. Excuse me, I had a burp. There we go. All right, so we look on the screen here. We have SOPA. So SOPA, I drew this trend line, and it began to peak like around 714. I didn't take this initial trade. Why? Well, SOPA, I felt like the volume was way too light initially. I didn't really get a good read on this stock when it first came up. No, not yeah. The volume was looking good, but then I saw this candle, and I was like, okay, this candle was higher volume compared to the previous ones. I'm like, okay, this to me will likely flush if this doesn't, work. And it didn't flush, and I just kept my eye on it. I was like, I don't know about this. Yeah, we double topped here, and it began to flush again, and then went up again, and it flushed back down. And then this is right here where things started to sell off a little bit more. I got in around with an entry price of 261, started position 50 shares at 7:35 in the morning. So I was looking for this break over this VWAP. I'm like, okay, maybe, after this sell off, I was like, maybe the next move will be cleaner and maybe we'll head into new highs. I was looking at the daily and I was like, I don't know. I don't know if there's much to work with. I mean, it did end up working. I mean, it's higher than where I traded it now. As you can see at 286. Hold on, let me double check my. Okay, cool. Just making sure no noises come up like the squawk or the alarms for the scanner. So I was looking at the daily. I'm like, okay, how realistically high would this go? It's continuation from the day before, December 26th. Do have a gap, but it's of a gap up, not gap down. Um, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It filled the gap down. I mean, sorry. And I was like, okay, we opened around like I think just under $2, and then I couldn't find a really good spot. We're above the 200 EMA. So these are one of those trades where it's like, okay, you don't know where really the roof will be. You can assume it'll be the next hop on the daily chart. So that's what I drew at 307. So I began to take this trade, approaching VWAP. Let me go back to my position. Approaching VWAP, I got it at 435. So right in this candle as we began to break, we broke through this VWAP, and I was like, okay, I knew we flushed a little bit, but I wanted to make sure that this was going to be a good move. Didn't turn out to be a good move initially. I got in here at 435 at 261. So as it broke VWAP, I'm like, okay, it's looking good. 1 minute's looking good. And then I took another 50 share position at 436. So the next candle over so I took two 50 share positions, two candle next to each other, and I was only up $2-3. I was looking for a break, obviously up towards this high at 273. That's where I would have taken profit, but it began to top out at 270, 266, and it didn't hold. So I sold pretty. I again scale out, and I lost $2 in that first trade. Then I tried to get back in with SOPA again, 438, which wasn't that good. I mean, it pulled back right here. On this pullback, I'm like, okay, maybe it'll pull back since we're above VWAP. I got it at 438, another 50 share position because I lost on the first trade. And I took another 50 share position a minute later on this candle. So on this red candle, I took 50 shares. On this green candle, I took another 50 shares. But it just didn't work. It failed. And I got out at 7:40 in the morning, 4:40 in the morning, and I lost about, let's see, my first position, as you can see, was 268, so I got him pretty high on that one. I'll show you right now. This second entry right here was pretty high, 268, so I averaged down, hoping we'll squeeze up, but we didn't. So I lost about $8 on that trade total. So I was down $10 a day. I'm like, okay, this is tolerable. I'm like, this is okay. It's very, very tolerable. We're keeping it light. Had I kept it 100 shares, I'd have been down a lot more than where I am today. I'm down $19. So actually, I was at 868 on total. Sorry, not $10. Yeah, I got that mixed up. Then I looked at BSLK. So that's two for two on SOPA. So I'm like, okay, this is where I could have walked away. This is the message right here. After those two, I'm like, that I could have walked away from there, but I decided to give myself a third shot. Three strikes, like baseball, like Ross always says. I was like, okay, it doesn't hurt to get three strikes, but then over that, kind of pushing it. Unless I'm in a big drawdown on my first trade, then that would be time to pack it up. Time to, let it go. So BSLK pops up on the scanner. It was the next leading gator up at 40%, and I was like, okay, let's see, what does the daily chart look on this? The daily chart has been selling off, which is good, with what we want. It did pop up already back in August and has began to fill that gap. So I'm like, okay, there could be back holders, which might pose a problem. So we're gonna go on this chart. The 1 minute, I took my first starter position at 182. No, 193. I got him pretty high on this one. This one I didn't like where I got in. It was really, really high. 449 in the morning, 193, 449. Let me see. Why did I get there? Hmm. Now that has me curious. I think I was looking at the. Let me look at 10-second chart. It seems odd for me to get in at that position. Huh. That is so weird. 449. Huh. I don't. That is so weird. I, I don't remember trading in this area. So we look here, BSLK. It says I got it at my entry 449. Was I not looking at this properly? This is one of those things where it's like I traded at that area. Because look, if we look at 449, we're gonna go back to the chart. And yeah, I'm still a bit sick, but I'm getting better. Boogers are gone. 450. You're telling me I took a trade on at this area, 193, but it doesn't make sense. BSLK. What? Something's not right here. 449. Yeah, because look, if we look at here at 449.06, 449.06, it's 185, and in my entry right here was showing 193. It is so weird. I don't think that's right. My, I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand what's going on. That didn't make sense. Okay, I'm just gonna exit out. Okay, that's weird. Anyways, I believe if I had to recall, let me see, this is a 1 minute chart. That is very, very weird. I don't recall that. And now my chart's fucked up. Okay, we're just gonna refresh this. Anyways, um, we'll forget about that. We'll just look at here. So yeah, I got in for entry 193. We kept it small, and then from there, I was down 10 cents on that trade. I'm like, let me get out, and that left me with $10. So three for three, and I'm like, okay, that's enough for today. Today the writing was on the wall, and yeah, I took my three shots. However, today on SPY, I think I did pretty good. So let's show you right here my P&L. So I took a position of a put. I didn't trade SPX today. I couldn't trade because PDT rule plays on Robinhood as well. So I couldn't take that trade, but I noticed a new, oh, not new trend, but someone pointed out a while back that using the 4 hour trend when it comes to these macro charts is probably better. And that's what they've been using. This is some people, I talk to, just random people that they use and found helpful. They use a 4 hour chart. The word trading doesn't have a 4 hour chart. It only goes up to a 1 hour chart. I don't see where it can be programmed to do a 4 hour chart, but it's almost similar. So I took a position of a put 689 put at 1 2 for expiration 1/2/2026. My cost was 249, and today I walked away 383. The high was 404. I felt that I was like, okay, this is good. This is the same week expiration. Take it off the table. Who knows? SPY could reverse. Market could reverse soon. However, I'm looking at this. If we're looking here on this daily chart, on the 4 hour chart, it are these 4 hour trends, and to me, it's been pretty accurate. So on this previous trend, we have this bottom. We're just recovering from a previous downtrend. So this whole uptrend from December 17th all the way up to December 26th is pretty much where we kind of topped for this trend. It's from what it seems like. So I drew this trend from the previous downtrend, and we basically V. This is the V that people talk about where we recover. Um, the trend before that was on a slow uptrend on a wedge. No, I think it was a wedge up. Let me see. Is there a way to full screen this? I want to full screen this. Anyways, this was a wedge up, and we broke through this support on December 12th. So I've just been trying to see how well has this trend been playing out, if it's true, and I feel like it's better intraday to daily because I mean there's 6 ticks on that 4 hour trend, so I think it gets a better you get a better idea of what the trend is looking out throughout the week as well. So we broke through this support, and then the same thing plays. The 9 and 20 MA begin to diverge, and the 20s over the 9. So as soon as we broke this support, we were on this downtrend. We were getting close to all-time highs. I think this was before rate cuts. This was, yeah, definitely before the rate cuts. I think this is what had a surge up that day, I believe, and then we had a flush. So we were selling off for about 5 days. So I drew this downtrend, and once this broke that resistance on the downtrend, then I began to draw an ascending support and ascending resistance line, and we began to reject at the top of the resistance line. You've seen this wicks, this topping tails. That to me is communicating that we're probably heading into another downtrend. Now I'm looking at the 1 hour chart. It's sort of similar, a little bit more noise. I mean, you see more ticks, but I'm like, okay, I think I like this better. And what's better too is the MACD. I'm also using that as confirmation. So I took my position December 26th, as best as I could. I try to buy at the top as best I can. Honestly, this contract, I could have got it for $198. I got it a little bit too high. This could have been 198. It could have been extra $49 on the between the 2 days. I made about whatever whatever difference this is. I think it's like 140. Let's see. Can we do math in our head right now? Let's see. I'm doing math in my head right now. About like 120-ish, $130, 143 actually. Hold on, fuck it. Hold on, let me just put the calculator. You can pause if you need to. I'm good at math. I promise. I am good at math. I understand math, but $134 of profit. So that's not bad, intraday. And I was following this trend, and we're about to diverge down. The MACD is about to cross over. So that's the big thing too. So when this trend got rejected on this uptrend, it's a rising wedge, typically bearish. I noticed this, and then the MACD is going negative. So I'm like, okay, that's good for puts. So I'm like, okay, where would you buy calls when it bounces off that support? That could be a good spot to bounce off to buy calls. As long as it's not breaking that trend. If it doesn't break that trend, then you're safe. You more likely are going to be safe. This was a very slow grind. Last week, I honestly surprised me. I didn't think we would see this much, increase, and we were due for a pullback. The relative strength index was pretty. It was high. I was like in the 70s. And I was like, okay, we're due for some sort of pullback after this very strong momentum. But today, as we can see here, we are bouncing off the support, so there's still room. This trend is still giving room to the upside. When or where will we see potential, you know, change in trend? Well, if we break through this support, I'm going to start buying puts again. For now, I'm going to wait and see. I know the 9 and 20 EMA are reversed. The 20 is over the 9, and the MACD is negative. So that is, some confidence that, hey, we are going to be heading to a downtrend, but we could maybe hit a retest. This could change completely. We will see. But I'm going to use this as an indicator for my weekly. I didn't take anything daily. It's gonna be more for like weekly or intraday. What I have right now is QQQ. Same thing on QQQ. I don't have this labeled out on QQQ, but the 4 hour chart trend is still showing. Same thing. We're rising above. So here we'll use indicator. We'll use the lines, extended line. We'll draw the bottom of this trend, hit that, and then
Members, once again, I want to thank everyone for joining us today on the Trade Exchange Squawk. As we mentioned earlier, we will be closing the Squawk off momentarily.
I thought I muted that. Good thing I heard it. Last time I recorded and I did not hear that, and I had to redo that whole video. But let's see, extended line on top of this trend. On QQQ, they're both two different indexes. The QQQ is more, I guess, liquid and has more volatility, mainly because 50% of it has tech. 50% of the QQQ is like has tech stocks in it, and those can be pretty volatile, especially with AI, scares or like just anything related to tech. So this is looking to me to be bearish as well. We can still see some uptrend. I have a 613 put expiring next Tuesday for this. It should show up. Yeah, one contract. This is my contract. What's okay? Let me increase the strike. Okay. But anyways, I have a 613 contract. I got it at 199. I think it's currently valued at 200. Let's see. I'll just put it here. Okay. Yep. So right now I'm up $3. I mean, it did end up reversing a little bit. I was up quite a bit on this put, but I will see where where this trend will end. If we go up higher, then we will. Then if we go up higher and maybe reject this trend, then I'll probably add, but we'll see because it is a limited time contract, so I don't want to hold it for too long. Otherwise, the value will decay. But right now, I'm gonna trust that the MACD will continue to diverge down. We did hit a rebound, so maybe we could hit a retest. The 9 to 20 EMA. Let's see. We're still The 9 is still above the 20, so we'll see. Honestly, we'll see. But that's it for today. $19 loss today, but made 134. Two different accounts. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully you guys also enjoy the macro stuff. I mean, it's something I want to take advantage of. I think it's possible. What are we seeing for tomorrow? So tomorrow, let's look at the scanner. I know it's a longer video. So right now we have CETX that is going up on the scanner. I wonder why. Well, it's tech stock, and I believe we've traded this before, or we've attempted to trade this. This popped up a couple weeks ago. So I'm not expecting much out of this, honestly. Let's see, where else did we have? Let's check. RPGL was also up. Yeah, it was a penny stock. It wasn't really moving. The volume wasn't there. Maybe at the open. Open, surged completely all the way up to 91 cents. It's really good. We had BNIA, but BNIA didn't really do much during the pre-market open. I drew this supporting trend. Thought we'd bounce up, but we didn't. That's why I didn't take any trade. It just broke in trend, and it just wasn't worth it. And then at the open, surged up all the way to $240, $2.40. And I don't know. We'll see what tomorrow. This is going to be live volume. Something I'm looking at though is GVH. GVH is 290K float. Look, it is industrials. They don't really move too much, but the float is what really captures my interest. And look at this. Like this has potential to squeeze. You know, this could be another SMX. I don't know. This is something to watch. This is something where I might just buy maybe a couple of shares, and if it goes up to $200, it could. I mean, hey, SMX went up by a lot. We could see this fill up all the way to 200. Where's SMX right now? SMX, it's also an industrials too, but this has squeezed up. I remember seeing this, it was like $4 or $5 November, and it squeezed up all the way to $400, $500. It's insane. So GVH might be something I'll watch, but take care, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow, and stay safe. All right, peace.